we are in the QBO gym. And the QBO gym is a place where we have numerous hands-on exercises that simulate real-life scenarios that you may encounter as a bookkeeper. Each month covers a variety of new topics and scenarios, and to make it a little bit easier for you, we break it down into 4 different sections. So if you're looking to work on your bookkeeping skills, this is the place for you. And if you want to do a couple of these on your own, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you have to do is click on the link in the description after we go through the exercise. But let's go ahead and get started. Today's exercise is being pulled from our May Year 1 warm-ups section. So at the top of that section is an animated video to give you a synopsis of what is going on in Craig's world this month. He is our fictitious business owner. Further down is an interactive pre-assessment quiz that relates to the video up above. Below that are the exercises in this section. And at the bottom here, after you have gone through all of the exercises in this section, we do have some sample marketing posts that you can use on your LinkedIn to share with everybody what you have learned so far. So let's dive right into today's exercise where we're going to practice adding expenses. If you click on that link right there, the exercise will pull up for you. I have it over here on the right side of my screen, so let's read through our scenario. The first thing you do when you sit down to work on Craig's account is check on his income and expenses. He has left you some receipts for Norton Lumber and Tanya's Nursery. We'll work on those first. You will need the receipts Craig left for you. Prior to completing this exercise, click on the button under the animated video in the warm-ups section to download it. So if I scroll back up here to the top, here is that animated video, and below that are these 2 buttons. This one says Craig's Receipts. This is the one that is needed for this exercise. When you click on that button, it will download for you. And when it opens, it will look like this. You see the 2 receipts, one for Tanya's and one for Norton Lumber. Now, to do this exercise, you will need to be in the sample company. If you are not sure how to get into the sample company or get your own free QBO account, be sure to click on the link in the description. I have the sample company pulled up here on the left side of my screen. This is the dashboard and what it will look like once you sign in. So let's go ahead and get started with the exercise. Now, one of the challenges when receiving receipts is knowing which account they were paid out of. If you can't tell from the receipt itself, you'll need to ask Craig. For these exercises, we will assume that you spoke to Craig and he said that he used his debit card connected to his checking account to pay for both. Also, as a note here, we will not be working with sales tax in these exercises. So just keep that in mind as we're going through the exercise. But let's go ahead and get started. The first one we will work with is Tanya's Nursery, that receipt. So to create that expense transaction, we need to click on the plus new button and then select expense. So the plus new button is on the top left corner of the screen. Click on that and then under vendors, select expense. Now when it comes up, we're going to go ahead and fill it out. In the payee field, we want to select Tanya's Nursery. So go ahead and click into that payee field. You can either start typing or you can scroll down to find her name. Once you do, go ahead and click on it. You will notice that the payment account is already showing as checking, which is perfect. This is what we want. Remember, he paid with his debit card, which is connected to his checking account. So this is exactly what we want to have here. We are going to leave the payment date field as is. It will default to today, but of course in real life, be sure that this payment date is matching what is on the receipt. So next, we will need to decide whether to add the items in the category grid or the items detail grid. If Craig wants to track how many he has on hand, which is inventory product, or how many he has purchased over time, which is non-inventory product, it would need to go in the item grid, and it must be set up in the products and services list. But because Craig does not track plants individually, they will go in the category details grid. So if I click into this, you will see it just says assorted plants for Tanya's. This is not something he tracks or is an inventory item, and so he will put it in the category details grid. Now you will notice here that once you had selected Tanya's, there was some information that had popped up for you. This is from the last expense that was created for Tanya's. This is a setting in the account and settings. You can always turn it off, but you can always, if it is turned on, you can always overwrite it, which is exactly what we are going to do right now. So in the first line on that category field, we're going to select job expenses, job materials, plants, and soil. So if you click into this and then you click the down arrow, since we're already here at job expenses, we're going to scroll down to job materials and then we see plants and soil. Go ahead and click on that, and that is the one that we are looking for. Now, if you started typing plants and soil, you will be presented with what looks like identical choices in the dropdown. The first option is the expense account, and the second one is the income account. They are in alphabetical order based on the full account name. So if I'm just going to go in here and show you what I'm talking about. If I typed in plant, right here you see plants and soil, plants and soil. So it is in alphabetical order by the full account name. So the one that we had just done was job expenses, job materials, plants and soil, which is this first one, versus the income account, which is this one here, which is job landscaping services, job materials, plants and soil. So this is the one that we want. If you did it the way that I had showed you before, where you scroll down, no problem. But just know in a real life scenario that if that is the case where you have two accounts that are similarly named, you may want to consider changing the names so you can easily tell which one is which. So let's continue on here. We're going to add some information in the description field and type assorted plants, since that is what it is here on the receipt. So click into that description field, type assorted plants. And then in the amount field, we want to type the amount that is on the receipt, which is $423.81. So go ahead and click into that amount box, delete what is currently there, type 423.81. When you hit the tab key over, you will see that the total has been updated by QBO. Now we are all finished with this one for Tanya's nursery, so we're going to move on to the next one. Let's click on the down arrow next to Save and Close to select Save and New. That is down here, click that down arrow, select Save and New. And now that expense for Tanya has been saved, and we have a brand new expense transaction open for us that we can go ahead and add the receipt for Norton Lumber building materials. So in the payee field, let's go ahead and select Norton Lumber and Building Materials. Click into that. You can either start typing like I'm going to do, or you can scroll down to find them. Once you find them, go ahead and select their name. Once again, that payment account is staying as checking because he paid with his debit card, and we're going to let the payment date default to today, but of course in real life, make sure it matches the expense, the actual date on the receipt itself. Now, as soon as you selected Norton Lumber and Building Materials, you will see this pop-out drawer. And that is because Craig has an outstanding bill with Norton. You would add this to the expense if Craig had paid it at the same time that he made his purchase. It doesn't appear from the receipt, though, that he did, but you could check with him to confirm. So we see here is an itemized, there's more details here. Looks like a fountain and a pump. Pumps were purchased here, nothing about that particular bill. So also note that the items Craig purchased from Norton Lumber and Building Materials are things that Craig tracks individually. That is, they are inventory products. So for this reason, we are going to be using the item details grid, not the category details grid. So we are going to, if you want to go ahead and collapse this, you can just click on this arrow right here so that it disappears, and now we can see the full expense. We're going to click on the item details arrow to open up the grid. So down here, you can click on the arrow here to expand this. If you want to collapse this, feel free to click on that arrow as well so that you are only seeing the item details grid. And then let's go ahead and fill it out based on what we see here on the receipt. It looks like the first one is that he purchased 2 fountains. So on that first line in the product service field, let's select Rock Fountain. You can click into it 2 times. It is the second one that is listed here on this list. Go ahead and click on it. In the quantity field, he purchased 2, so go ahead and delete what is currently there, type 2. When you hit the tab key over, QBO is making that calculation of $250, as we can see right here. And it looks like the second item that he purchased was a fountain pump, and it looks like he purchased 4 of those. So on the second line in the product service field, we're going to select pump. You can click into that box 2 times with that drop down. It is the first one that is listed. Go ahead and click on pump. And then in the quantity field, we want to change this to 4. When you hit the tab key over, the calculation has been made for you. We have it here for $290, which is what is matching on the receipt right here. And so we are all done entering this expense as well. We're going to click on the down arrow next to Save and New and then select Save and Close. So that is down here on the right corner of the screen, bottom right corner of the screen. Click on that down arrow, select Save and Close. And there you go, that expense has been saved. And that is how you would add expenses. Now, if you like this exercise and you'd like to do more like it, be sure to join our free 5-day bookkeeping challenge. All you have to do is just click on the link in the description. We move through the warm-up section with our next exercise where we practice recording the slice sales summary. And I will see you in the next video.